We are all pieces of the past, but when we come together, we are one people, the Salinan people. I am honored to share a tradition that has been passed from generation to generation and that brings us together. Through our traditions, we connect with the past as well as accept the future. As a Native American growing up in a modern world, it is important to me to connect with the roots of my people and to put a new spin on old traditions. This is why I am so excited to share with you today this elderberry jelly recipe. This is a recipe that I learned from my grandmother, and I'm so excited to pass down to my daughter. My name is Madeline Flood. I'm an active member of the Salinan tribe of San Luis Obispo and Monterey counties. Today, I am proud to share with you a way that I honor my cultural heritage. This elderberry jelly is a modern spin on a traditional recipe. First, I'd like to start off with telling you a little bit about the elderberry. The life cycle of an elderberry begins with an elderflower. The elderflowers are edible and make a lovely tea or juice. The flowers of the elderberry are umbrella-shaped and commonly come in clusters. They have a creamy, white appearance to them. They can also be used for medicinal purposes. Elderflower can be used to treat the common cold, flu, and even swelling and inflammation. The next step in the life cycle is the unripe elderberry, which can look green at first but then changes to a deep blue. Do not be fooled by this change. They are still not ready to be harvested. You can spot a ripe berry by its powdery sky blue appearance. When the elderberry tree is done producing, it drops its leaves for the cool winter. It is important to harvest the elderberry at the correct time. Some of the leaves, stems, barks, and roots contain cyanide-producing poisons. This being said, if you do pick your elderberries at the correct time and follow the instructions for harvesting, you should have no problems. It is important to not only appreciate the ripe berry, but also the tree in its entirety. The elderberry tree is a significant part of the Salinan culture. For thousands of years, we have been using the branches of the tree to make clapper sticks, flutes, and pipes. These are important items and are used during ceremonies.
My name is Pamela Flood. I'm part of the Salinan tribe of this area. I live where my ancestors lived thousands of years ago. My family history goes back to the mission San Antonio. It's recorded on the side of the mission wall. The first marriage in California was performed to my relative, my grandmother way back, and her name was Margarita del Fortuna. She was a Salinan woman, and it was performed in 1773. The main reason that we love elderberries is the elderberries themselves. The elderberries make delicious jams and jellies, and I've done that, like I said, for a long time. And now I'm passing that down to my grandkids, my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids. And I've made jams and jellies, like I said, and now they're learning to harvest and help in the process. One of my sons is part of our tribal council. He has taken the elderberry branches and what have you to the different events for the children to learn how to make the clapper sticks and what have you. So we use the elderberry, and we continue to enjoy it, and I hope you do too if you get the chance.
Start off by introducing myself. My name is Edward Franklin Pierce. The son of Skinner Pierce. He's on the wall right there. Great man. Most of what I know about natives and native stuff I learned from my father and his mother. It's very important that we pass our culture down to the younger ones. I'm now an elder, I'm 65, but in my travels and what I've learned is I've learned a lot about our native territory. I sat on a council for 4 years and did a lot of studying on the territory, and that was one of my tasks, was map out our territory. And in doing so, even though I'd already walked a great deal of it and hunted a great deal of it from north to south, east to west, what I did notice was the very things that I learned through the years. Well, one of the things, the main things that I'm speaking of now is I learned from my dad, and that was how to stop and look around you and really take in what you're seeing. And those little things that my dad was great at making it important. And he was such a great speaker. He was a great teacher because of that. Because he'd always make things interesting to us that were important. So the elderberry, what he taught me was where it was at, where it was located. You don't just find them just anywhere. You might think that, but when I was doing the territorial looking at it, and as I started looking at the trails and the main trails that our native people used back and forth to the coast and up and down the valleys, you'll notice that there is elderberries lined on those trails. Those same trails, to the average person that didn't grow up native in this territory, would recognize them, because right alongside the highways, those highways used to be native trails. Now they're highways, they're roadways, and like that. Those are the ones that the Salinans traveled on. And all along those roads, you'll also notice that there is elderberries growing.
It is very important for us to keep these traditions alive. As you can see here, we have the youngest generation learning how to harvest elderberries, followed up by a seasoned master, Edward Pierce.
Hi, my name is Isabella, but I like being called Bella more. I'm part of the Salinan tribe. I'm 8 years old. I like to help pick the berries with my mom and my grandma.
A tip for when you are done harvesting your elderberries is to put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. The reason behind this, the frozen berries are much easier to remove from the stems, and also they make much less of a mess. The elderberry stems and leaves contain toxins that can be harmful to humans, so it is very important to remove them during the cleaning and sorting process. After they've been removed, they can be used as insect and rodent repellents. Once your berries are cleaned and ready to go, you want to take your jars and put them in a pot of boiling water to sterilize them, and also so that they can retain some of that heat, so when you pour the hot jelly into them, they do not crack. Also, you want to put the top of your lids in a shallow bowl of water and keep that on a simmer. Once your jars have been brought up to a boil, you want to remove them and put them on a towel, a cloth, something clean. Tongs are very helpful. Now you're going to measure out your sugar. I like to do this ahead of time so that it's already ready when I need it and I don't have to try to hurry around. So I actually do this quite a bit ahead of time. When making jelly, it's all about precision. So you want to make sure that you have exact measurements for everything or your jelly won't set up. And that just means that it'll be more of a syrup and it won't solidify. So now we're cooking down these berries, giving them a nice stir. We're gonna fill up our big pot with some more water and get that on a gentle boil. After your berries have cooked down enough, you're going to pour them into a cheesecloth and strain the juice out. Be careful because this is very hot. Also, just a little warning, you are going to get elderberry juice everywhere, and it does stain. I've learned along the years that it does stain. After stirring in the sugar and the pectin, we bring our new mixture to a boil. And now we're going to begin spooning it into our jars. It's very important that you leave a little bit of room at the top of your jars, and before you put the lids on, you wipe them all off so that you can get a nice seal. Now we are putting our jars into our pot, and you want to make sure that the jars are covered about 1 to 2 inches of water in there. And we are going to put the lid on there and cook them. We're going to take them out of our big pot and let them cool down and set on the counter. It's really important that you don't touch the top of the jars because that's how you know if they are sealed or not. And there you have your jelly. Elderberry jelly. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share a piece of my culture with you today. I would like to give a special thank you to my family for coming together and helping me create this video, and to all of you for taking the time out of your day to be here. I would also like to thank our amazing team from Cuesta College, Lisa Mipsud and Allison Phelps, and of course a thank you to Kelsey Schaefer from the Chumash tribe for sharing your culture with us tonight.